Good afternoon. Up till now, we have seen theory of spur gear and problems related to spur gear. That is to determine model or design the spur gear and to find out beam strength, wear strength and power transmission. Therefore, now we will see helical gear. Now these are some photographs of helical gear. Now you are observing the helical gear and you may be thinking that what is the difference between spur gear and helical gear. Therefore, from the photographs or from the images itself, you are getting that in case of helical gear, teeth are inclined on the surface of the gear, while in case of spur gear, teeth are parallel to the axis of the gear, and in case of helical gear, teeth are inclined with respect to axis of the gear. Therefore, this is the basic difference between spur gear and helical gear. Now, again, in helical gear, there are two types of helical gears, right hand helical gear and left hand helical gear. Now, how to identify right hand helical gear and left hand helical gear? Now, you just see in the slide, there are two figures. First is left hand helical gears, second is right hand helical gears. Therefore, you just see teeth of left hand helical gear. If you will produce that teeth, they will intersect to the axis of the gear towards left side, towards left side. And if you will produce the teeth of the gear in such a way that the teeth will intersect towards right side of the axis, then it is known as right hand helical gear. Always remember, when two helical gears are in contact with each other, right hand helical gear is in contact with left hand helical gear. Therefore, this is left hand helical gear, this is right hand helical gear. Now, how to recognize left hand and right hand? See that this upper pinion, this pinion is right hand helical gear. If you produce the teeth, it will intersect towards right side of the axis. Now, these are the left hand, this bigger gear or this wheel is nothing but left hand helical gear. If you produce the teeth, it will intersect towards left side to the axis. Therefore, this is the upper gear is the right hand helical gear, lower gear is the left hand helical gear. Same diagram, pinion right handed helical teeth is in contact with gear left handed helical teeth. Now, we will see basic difference between spur and helical gears. Therefore, first difference is the teeth of spur gears are cut parallel to the axis of the shaft. The teeth of helical gears are cut in the form of a helix on the pitch cylinder. In spur gears, the contact between meshing teeth occurs along the entire face width of the tooth, resulting in a sudden application of the load, which in turn results in impact conditions and generates noise in high-speed applications. In helical gears, the contact between meshing teeth begins with a point on the leading edge of the tooth and gradually extends along the diagonal line across the tooth. That means in case of spur gear, when two teeth are coming in contact with each other, there is a sudden impact of one tooth on another tooth. And in case of helical gear, first of all, contact will take place at point and then it will go, or that contact will go up to the line contact gradually. Gradually means slowly. Therefore, In case of helical gear, smooth engagement is there, and in case of spur gear, since smooth engagement is not there, therefore when teeth are coming in contact with each other, noise is created in case of spur gear. Therefore, this is the difference between spur gear and helical gear. Now, since in helical gear there is a gradual pickup of load by the tooth, resulting in smooth engagement and quiet operation even at high speeds. Also, helical gears are used in automobiles, turbines, and high-speed applications, even up to 3000 meter per minute. Therefore, this is the difference between spur gear and helical gear. Now, next, types of helical gears. There are two basic types of helical gears, parallel and crossed. Parallel helical gears operate on two parallel shafts. In this case, the magnitude of the helix angle is the same for the pinion and the gear. However, the hand of the helix is opposite. A right hand pinion meshes with a left hand gear and vice versa. Now, crossed helical gears. Crossed helical gears are mounted on shafts with crossed axes. Their teeth may have the same or opposite hand of the helix. Now we will see the diagram of parallel helical gears and crossed helical gears. Now you just see, this is the parallel helical gears. Parallel helical gears means when helical gears are used to transmit motion and power between two parallel shafts, then it is known as parallel helical gear. Now this is crossed helical gear. If you will see, in case of crossed helical gear, shafts are neither intersecting nor parallel. Means shafts are not parallel to each other and they are not intersecting. Therefore, when helical gears will use to transmit motion and power between two non-parallel and non-intersecting shafts, then it is known as crossed helical gears. Now we will see terminology of helical gears. Now you just see same diagram, right-handed pinion having helical teeth is in contact with left-handed helical teeth gear. The conventional representation of a pair of helical gears on technical drawings is illustrated in figure. It is necessary to show the hand of the helix or the direction of teeth on the drawing. The hand of the helix is indicated by drawing three thin continuous lines. The lines are sloping downward to the right side of the page for right-handed helical teeth. The lines are sloping upward to the right-hand side of the page for left-handed teeth. Means you just see, if the sloping lines are sloping downward, this is known as towards right side, then it is known as right-handed helical gear. And if sloping lines are sloping upwards towards right side, then it is known as left-handed helical gear. Therefore, a portion of the top view of a parallel helical gear is shown in figure. A1, B1 and A2, B2 are center lines of the adjacent teeth taken on the pitch plane. A1, B1, you just see here, A1, B1, center lines. These are A1, B1 and A2, B2 are indicating center lines of the teeth. The angle A1, B2, A2, A1, B2, A2, just here, A1, B2, A2 is known as helix angle psi. Is known as helix angle Psi. It is defined as the angle between the axis of the shaft and the center line of the tooth taken on the pitch plane. X is the plane of rotation while YY is a plane perpendicular to the tooth elements. X is the plane of rotation while YY is a plane perpendicular to the tooth elements. The distance A1 A2 is called the transverse circular pitch P, which is measured in the plane of rotation. The distance AC1, the distance, see this, A1C, sorry, the distance A1C is called the normal circular pitch. Normal means perpendicular. Therefore, since this line is perpendicular to the teeth, therefore it is known as, this distance is known as normal circular pitch, PN. A1 A2 is known as transverse circular pitch P. Therefore, normal circular pitch which is measured in a plane perpendicular to the tooth elements. I think you should draw the diagram. I will wait. Okay, draw this diagram. I will wait for 5 to 10 minutes. Then we will write down the notations. Please draw the diagram. Okay, I think you have drawn the diagram. Now you just see psi is nothing but helix angle. A1, A2, it is known as transverse pitch P. A1C distance, it is known as normal pitch Pn. The alpha n is nothing but helix angle. Alpha n is, sorry, it is normal helix angle. Alpha is nothing but helix angle. Therefore, from triangle A1, A2C, from triangle A1, A2C, what we are getting? See this A1, A2C, cos of psi is equal to A1C divided by A1A2. Therefore, A1C is nothing but Pn divided by P. Therefore, Pn divided by P is equal to cos of psi. Therefore, Pn is equal to P cos of psi. Equation 1. Now, substituting small p into capital P, that is equal to pi. This equation is there in the spur gear, where small capital P is known as diametral pitch and small p is known as circular pitch. Circular pitch into diametral pitch is equal to pi. This relation is there in spur gear chapter. Therefore, same relation we have taken. Circular pitch small p into capital P is nothing but diametral pitch. Circular pitch into diametral pitch is equal to pi. Therefore, in the above expression we get, therefore Pn is equal to P divided by cos psi. P divided by cos psi, equation 2, where Pn and P are normal and transverse diametral pitches respectively. Pn and P are normal and transverse diametral pitches respectively. Therefore, this is equation 1 and 2. Therefore, write down this. I will wait for 2 to 3 minutes. Please write, because we have to use these relations while solving problems. Here alpha n is nothing but normal pressure angle. Psi is nothing but helix angle. And alpha is nothing but pressure angle. Okay, I think you have written. Therefore, substituting capital P is equal to 1 upon m. Always remember, diametral pitch is equal to inverse of module. In the above expression, that is equation 2, we have Mn is equal to m cos of psi. Equation number 3, where Mn is equal to normal module in mm, small m is equal to transverse module in mm. The distance A1 B2 is called axial pitch PA. See that A1 B2 axial pitch PA. Therefore, from triangle A1 A2 B2, A1 A2 B2, we can write PA. PA means A1 B2. PA is equal to P upon tan psi. Equation 4. Therefore, write down this. Okay. Equation number 4. PA is equal to P upon tan psi. There are two pressure angles. First is transverse pressure angle alpha and normal pressure angle alpha n in their respective planes. It can be proved that they are related by the following expression, that is cos of psi is equal to tan of alpha n divided by tan of alpha. Equation 5. The normal pressure angle is usually 20 degree. The pitch circle diameter d of the helical gear is given by d is equal to zp upon pi, which is equal to z divided by capital P, which is equal to z into m, because 1 upon diameter pitch is equal to module, which is equal to, substituting value of m in equation from equation 3, m is equal to mn divided by cos psi. Therefore, we have substituted zmn upon cos psi. Therefore, we are getting equation 6, that is d is equal to zmn upon cos psi. Therefore, write down this. Okay, I think you are written. The center to center distance, small a, between the two helical gears having Z1 and Z2 as the number of teeth is given by small a is equal to d1 divided by 2 plus d2 divided by 2, which is equal to z1 mn divided by 2 cos psi plus z2 mn divided by 2 cos psi, where small a is equal to, we will take mn common, denominator will remain same, therefore mn into bracket z1 plus z2 divided by 2 cos psi, equation 7. The speed ratio I for helical gears is determined in the same manner as for the spur gears, that is I is equal to speed ratio I is equal to omega p upon omega g is equal to zg upon zp, equation 8, where suffix p and g refer to the pinion and gear respectively. Therefore write down this. Okay, I think you have written this. Now next, virtual number of teeth. Therefore draw this diagram. Virtual number of teeth. Draw the diagram. Virtual number of teeth. I will wait for 5 minutes. Okay, now I will explain virtual number of teeth. Now this is the helical gear. I am explaining the diagram. Now we have taken a section perpendicular to the teeth, section A, and that section looks like this, section A. Therefore, this d by 2 and this d by 2 indicates, means d by 2 plus d by 2 means small d. It indicates minor axis of the ellipse. This is the ellipse, and this semi major axis value is d by 2 cos psi, and this is d by 2 cos psi, means d cos psi is nothing but semi major axis of the ellipse. Now the pitch cylinder of the helical gear is cut by the plane AA, which is normal to the tooth elements as shown in the figure. The intersection of the plane AA and the pitch cylinder extended produces an ellipse. This ellipse is shown by a dotted line. The semi-major axis and semi-minor axis of this ellipse are d by 2 cos psi and d by 2 respectively. It can be proved from analytical geometry that the radius of curvature r dash at the point B is given by, the radius of curvature r dash at the point B is given by r dash is equal to a squared divided by b, where a and b are semi-major and semi-minor axis respectively. Therefore, substituting the values of this tooth you are observing, this tooth is nothing but of virtual tooth. Substituting the values of a and b in the expression, we are getting r dash is equal to d divided by 2 cos square psi. In the design of helical gears, an imaginary spur gear is considered in the plane AA. See that this tooth is nothing but an is tooth of imaginary spur gear with center O dash, having a pitch circle radius r dash and module Mn. It is called a formative or virtual spur gear. It is called a formative or virtual spur gear. Therefore, below this diagram shows the formative teeth or the virtual teeth of the spur gear, where r dash is equal to d divided by 2 cos square psi. B is nothing but face width, psi is nothing but helix angle. The pitch circle diameter d dash of the virtual gear is given by d dash is equal to 2r dash. Therefore, substituting the values, we are getting d dash is equal to d divided by cos square psi. The number of teeth z dash on this imaginary spur gear is called the virtual number of teeth, and it is given by z dash is equal to 2 pi r dash divided by pn, which is equal to 2 pi. Substituting the values of r dash, 2 pi into bracket d divided by 2 cos square psi bracket complete divided by, we have to substitute value of pn is equal to pi into mn, which is equal to d divided by mn cos square psi. We know that d is equal to zmn cos psi. Therefore, substituting the values, mn will get cancelled. Therefore, z dash is equal to z upon cos cube psi, where z dash is equal to actual number of teeth. Z dash is equal to actual number of teeth. The number of teeth z dash on this imaginary spur gear or virtual number of teeth. Therefore, z dash is nothing but number of teeth on imaginary spur gear or virtual number of teeth. Therefore, z dash is equal to z divided by cos cube psi. Therefore, please write down this and we will stop. Please write